let's dive in. We're going to go. It is June and it is summer, but there's this very strategic reason why I'm showing this picture. What does a synchronized swimmer tell us about our business? What can we see in this picture and what we know about synchronized swimming? If you've never watched it, I would suggest doing it. You can do this as an individual, you can do this as a couple, and think about as a team. So I want you to think about your business and how does this relate? You can put it in the chat, you can share freely if you'd like. We've got some time here. So what does this show you? I'll be looking in the chat and reading. Okay, what does this show you? Anything come up for you? Ooh, yeah, interest in stickiness. Okay, well, we're going to talk about that. All right, I'm going to ask you this. Oh, plan, strategy. How can business owners learn? So you guys are going to be putting in there perfect harmony. Ooh, I like that. Harmony was one of the things I came up with too. Balance, harmony. But what can we learn from them? Like balance and harmony are good, but what else? Think about the time and effort they put into this. Do you think they're going to go and get in the pool and then next week we're going to go join the Olympics? No. This is consistent. It's timing. It's got so many components. What's coming up for you guys? What can we learn? And I'll pause for a second. What can we learn? Ooh, yeah. Practice. I like that. What else? You guys are typing. You guys must have big paragraphs there for me. Okay, practice. Yeah, practice makes perfect. Love it. Love it. Well, keep this image in your mind as we talk about. We're going to come back to it, but I want you to keep it in your mind. And I always wanted to know how these ladies keep their makeup so perfect because I'm walking around in the normal world and it doesn't stay on like them while they're swimming. All right. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about these three: price, engage, and then we're going to fall into that retain. So let's dive in. When we look at this price, these are three different pricing models. If we start from the left, what pricing model is this one showing us? So take your best guess. She's at the supermarket. We could call it, one of the big retailers. What kind of pricing strategy is usually used in this type of scenario, we'll say? What kind of pricing strategy? And we're all here, learning. You guys may know all the answers already. So put them out there. Let's see what you guys think. The one on the very far left. Don't get too far ahead. I know the right's going to be really fun. All right. Any takers? Anybody want to jump in? You can even say it. You don't have to chat it. What do you think it is? The left side.
What is she holding in her hand?
Oh, well, she's holding some kind of, I don't know, maybe cream cheese. But just
Oh,
think of
okay.
where she's at. Look at
Okay.
where she's at. She's in the supermarket. What do they usually base their price on? Cost, right? Everything's cost. I'm going to look at what did I have to pay for it? I need to have some type of margins. There's different components in there, but it's basically cost based, right? Now this can get very competitive. Who's been to those stores where they're like, you bring me the price and I will beat it? I mean, it gets really gnarly on profits for that type of pricing. So if you go to the middle picture, the airline industry back in the 70s brought in a new type of pricing. Does anybody know what kind of pricing they brought in? And people use it still today. We still use it.
By
Anybody know
class?
that one? Well, I like that. No, that it's a little different. Think about how they change their prices either from day to day, the season,
Oh,
or even if they start filling up the plane, they may even do this.
by
Maybe
demand.
it's filling.
Yeah.
Yeah, dynamic. It's like a dynamic pricing. So this is really a cool strategy that you can incorporate in, and we'll talk about how you can even add it in with your value based. But this is one of the strategies that are available out there, and a lot of companies use it, dynamic pricing. Also, Amazon. Did you know that Amazon is always changing the price? And they're changing it. If you ever look at like how long does it take, how much does it cost, it sometimes even changes if you have like a PO box versus your home. So think about how this can play in if you're a product, if you have products versus services. Now, the last one, who knows the tagline, a diamond? What is the finish? A
Is a
diamond?
girl's best friend.
I like that one, but there's another one, De
Lasts
Beers.
forever.
Lasts forever. De Beers in the 40s was having a decline in selling diamonds. They were expensive. Not a lot of people were doing them. And then it came a diamond that lasts for a lifetime. And then it was how big your diamond is, how much your love is. And now it became a value, right? It changed over. Anybody know the pink, the blue, right? Say pink. The blue tells you what company without even having to say it. Most people know that blue. And it might be a little off, but what's that blue in the diamond world? Tiffany's, right? The blue box, the blue box. So you guys, when we come to
Tiffany.
the, yeah.
Tiffany's the
So which,
silver blue box.
yeah. So which strategy are you using? I want you to think about your business. Are you using a cost-based strategy? How are you pricing? If you're, looking at this from all different angles, today is all about value and how we can grow our company, not only in value, but also in the profit. And how can we use strategies in our pricing to help increase that? Now, maybe you guys can put in the chat or share what strategy are you using to price yours, service or product.
Question.
And while you're typing that in, keep in mind what you're doing. We always talk about growing the value of our business. If we're able to delegate, we've talked about this before. Am I doing things in my business that one could be done by somebody else at a much lower rate? Because that's what the going rate is. If you are not a website designer, spending 10 hours on your website for the value that you bring may not be worth your time or effort. So keep this also in mind, is what am I doing in my business that somebody else could be doing for a much more efficient price, even if that means paying them, but I have my time back to do something else. So hopefully you guys will put in there what type of strategy you're using. I'm going to continue on value-based pricing. So if you look in the upper right-hand corner, what does it say? A service or product only worth what people are willing to pay for it, right? That's how much value I'm bringing. If I told you today, guys, you guys can get my phone for $1,000. And you're like, why would I pay for your phone for $1,000? But I'm like, you know what? Inside of there, I've got about 10 different high level executives in my phone that you can reach out to via phone and say you're calling from me. And I've got a couple celebrities and a few athletes. You think somebody's going to pay me $1,000 for my phone? Yeah, it's a lot more valuable. Same idea. How am I bringing value through my business? So I like to call this value-based pricing with a twist. So we can walk through this today, understanding your customer and your avatar. If you're working with somebody and this type of individual, just based on their industry, are they a cost saver? They're like, I'm not going to spend a lot. So if you're going to try to sell me a lot, I'm going to go back to my way. Or are you working with somebody that appreciates the value? So you have to really understand who's my client first before you walk through these next steps, right? And so maybe you can put in there, if you want to put anything in about clients, you can, but I'm going to keep moving for time because I want to make sure we have enough time. I do want you that we work with a lot of companies on cash flow efficiency. And one thing we've noticed is sometimes the hard costs are added up, but the taxes are not. So are you adding in that you will be paying taxes on what you earn into the cost of what you're doing? Now you might be saying, Amanda, going back to that cost-based thing. Yes, but we need to know how much does it cost for us to actually do these things. What is the time it's going to take? Do I need to hire a specialist? Do I have software costs? Do I have other elements that are a part of this? Am I paying a referral fee out for the service that I'm providing? I need to incorporate that in so I'm able to walk home with the profit that I want. Am I giving myself 20%, 30% profit? Does that take me out of the range of what is normal for these type of customers that we're working for the service? Or do they see it so valuable and so scarce that they don't care? They're going to pay. Am I hitting home anywhere right now? Is this helpful? Is
Mhm.
this helpful? I want you to also calculate the value. You might be saying, well, how am I going to do that? How am I going to calculate the value, right? Now, if you are saving time, so I want to give you this example. If you had a light bulb, right? And the light bulb costs $1 to make, but sells this LED light bulb for $10, are you going to pay for that LED light bulb for $10? And why might you? What does it do for you? What does an LED light bulb do for you? It saves you money, right? It's supposed to use less energy, less electricity, so you can save money. So they put the value of taking a $1 product item and making it 10 because they said, I'll save you money. So when you think about pricing your service or your product, you're going to think about, do I save them time? If they worked with me for a year and I'm able to save them, let's say 10 hours a month, what's that worth for them? Now I start to see that what I'm bringing actually does bring like value that I can actually talk about. Maybe it saves money, right? If you're doing a product that saves money over time, isn't that a cool way to bring this in? And sometimes you'll see when people share their services, they'll say like, this is worth this, like this is this much, but you're getting it at this price. It's another way to build the value that you have. Of course, we want to check our competition. So keep this in mind when you're thinking about value-based pricing. I want to keep in the range, but I also want to make sure I'm honoring the value that I bring, which may be different than my competitors. But it's good to go through that process and test it. Test it. Go for 3 to 6 months and test that price and see if it's working. If sales decline, it's not hitting the numbers you need, then we need to try again. Maybe there was something that we missed. Maybe the value wasn't that much. Maybe it was less. Or maybe you have so many, you need to increase the price because now it's too low. You actually don't have time to fulfill on all these at the level you're getting them in. So you may want to increase the price, which that's a great problem to have. And the other thing that comes up that some people miss is actually surveying your clients, asking them. Ask them about the service they're getting. What do they see as valuable in your business so you can use it as a selling point coming out? What do your collaborators love about working with you? What value do you bring for them? What value do you bring for your clients? And then monitoring the real feedback and reviews that you get online. And what do they say? Do they say, wow, the value was so much, it was like what I paid didn't even matter? They say cheap is just the absence of value. So if I'm bringing value, the cost then is not a cost, it's an investment, right? It's what I want to get the outcome that I want. And it becomes very clear that this can be a very beneficial um, type of pricing for you and for your client. Now, if you look up here in the upper right-hand corner, it says that note that companies adopting these strategies tend to outperform their peers. And that's in terms of revenue growth and profitability. Isn't that awesome? If you go through the value-based pricing, you can do that. Now, one element I like to say is once you're tracking and you have your retention, then start playing with your dynamic pricing or your progressive pricing. Meaning, let's say you started a price, and if you're able to hit the things you said you could, like I saved time, I saved money, I did this, then maybe at the quarter mark, you increase your price and you have a way of showing this with the clients that, hey, we did these things, therefore they assigned to a contract, we'll pay you an extra amount every block of time that you guys have paced out, half year, quarter, maybe every year it goes up. I'm going to stop there. What are you guys thinking? What are your thoughts? What do you think about what I've shared thus far? And is this
Or how do
workable?
you want to apply this to your business? What
Oh yeah.
issues are you having in terms of value-based pricing for your business specifically. So, John, when you think about your pricing strategy, what are some of the questions that come up for you?
This is excellent. By the way, Amanda, thank you. This is kind of, we're trying to do that right now. All our different service offerings, we're trying to really hone down on the pricing based on avatar. So yes, we've always been value-based. The problem is because I mean, we work with high performers, CEOs, pro athletes, but we also work with kids with brain trauma and ADHD. So the value to the kids might be even higher if we can completely change their life to be better, but they can't afford what a CEO or a pro athlete can afford. So we're right now trying to do this, and this is helpful if we can really understand the avatar, what it's worth to them, and also then based on that, maybe we give scholarships or some other way that we can adjust our pricing without depleting the value.
Mm.
So this is helpful. This is what we're working on this week after
Yeah, very
this
cool.
weekend.
Yeah. Oh, Linda, we can't hear you.
Love that. And Dagmar, with you, when you think about the pricing strategy that you've created, and I'm sure we'll be getting into this, but issues of bundling services or ensuring that we're offering a progressive level of pricing strategy for different levels of services, the way we want to bundle our services, all that. Is there anything that you're specifically struggling with or thinking about, especially as it pertains to value-based pricing? You are on mute or something. We can't hear you.
Try again. Yeah.
I need to switch microphones.
Oh no. Okay. So not an issue of price right now, but look forward to hearing more. Yeah. And this is a complex topic, right? And I think Linda alluded to it. There's a lot of different pieces. And today we're only focused on the value and increasing profit. So this one was strategic in how we're bringing this one in here and how it intertwines with the remaining components that we have. So let me go ahead and continue on. I'm going to go to the engage because the pricing, we could stick there the whole entire session. And I want to make sure we have time to talk through some of those additional strategies. So think about your customers. And this, we've gone from the summer, right to Christmas. But what does this tell you about your customer lifetime value? If you were to look at this image, what does it tell you about about a customer, right? If we're looking at the every year, what happens at Christmas? Everybody does what? They go
Decorate
and
their
they
home.
shop
Yeah.
and they decorate their homes. Does anybody know how much it costs to put lights on a home? And you might do it. You might know the precise
$3,000
price,
to
but how much does it cost?
$5,000 generally.
Yeah. And how many years do these families do this usually?
5 years.
Okay, 5 years, 10 years,
5 to
depends on
10.
More,
how old the
maybe more,
kids
yeah.
are, how old the kids are, right? But this could be a long-term customer lifetime value because every year everybody's doing it. And if you don't do it, why didn't you do it this year, right? It's almost like once you start, you can't stop. And you are a part of the community and a part of this journey. So I want you to think about now, if everybody only did it once and stopped, maybe the prices would come down, but people don't stop. So think about your customers, and we're going to go into this, but think about your customers and how we can make them a little stickier. Now, I gave you a lot here, but I want us to kind of unpack this. So it involves estimating the total revenue. We're going to talk about what this is for you, of your business, over the entire duration of the relationship with the company. But why do we even want to know this? Like, what's the point? Well, if we know the customer lifetime value, then it's not transactional. It's not the first time we can get them to buy a product, we're done, right? No, because we get to actually make decisions if we know we can keep them a little bit longer. So I'm going to give you an example. So a coach, right, started off just coaching and then saw that, hey, if I went ahead and did one coaching program that's shorter, I could upsell it to another, right? This is the easy example, upsell to the next one. But then after those two courses, if they're not sticking and they're going to leave, then you have to have people don't build this, but downsells. What else could they do if they're not moving up, 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 up? How are they coming back down and they stick with me? Because if they're with me, right, if they stick with me for the lifetime, then I'm able to offer different things that may pique their interest at the right time. That could be a community. It could be something simple as office hours. And we're going to talk about this in a second, but these strategies will help gear our marketing. It will help us also with our exit. So we always talk about the exit in mind. If we are planning our exit and we have customers that are sticky and there for the lifetime, you are more valuable to a buyer because it's less risky. I don't have to have it one sell every time. I have one client that's going to last 3 to 5 to 10 years. Isn't that a benefit for you as an owner, but also for you for an exit? So think about that. Retention and loyalty programs become really big. Anybody a part of, let's say, like a trip, like, you've got the airlines, right? Who's a part of rewards for airlines, hotels? Why do they do this, right? I just joined one because I was able to save some money and I was like, well, I don't really, it's not like the one I go to all the time. I have my favorites, but I joined, right? And now I get all their emails and I see all the places that are cool. These programs are built around our emotions, right? We have to also think about how we are connecting with our clients emotionally for their choices, that it's not just logical, it's emotional, but it also pulls them across. Customer satisfaction for the lifetime value of your clients is top, top, top. If you don't have customer satisfaction, it's just, this isn't going to be the focus, right? You want to have really impeccable satisfaction and experience for them, as well as it gives you a competitive advantage. So if you are able to hold on to a client longer, you may be able to offer additional things like we said. So let's calculate your customer lifetime value. So I want you to use your example. How many times does somebody purchase from you in a year, and what is that amount? So go ahead and put that down. I put an example here of $1,000. This is a retainer, right? Example, $1,000 a month for 12 months is $12,000. Most clients will stay for 2 years, so I did 12 times 2 is 24. After that, in this example, they fall off, right? There's nothing else after that. We got to build some stuff to keep them in there, right? I've got an example with it. But what's your customer lifetime value? So let's take a minute and punch out those numbers and maybe give me, yeah, I got it. Done. And for those of you who are joining, welcome, that are coming in. We are calculating. We've talked about pricing, talked about value-based pricing, and now we are talking about engaging our customers for a lifetime. Okay, awesome. And how many years? Is that 6 times a year?
Sorry, 6 months. So,
Okay. So then if you have, it's for 6 months, do they pay for the next 6 months?
well, that's something I need. This is value, right? So that's why I have to expand what I offer because most people accomplish their goals very quickly in 3 months or 6 months.
Mm.
So, and then it's over, right? But now I get referrals and everything, but they get the value they wanted in that time. So I need to add more packages, more other options, more partners in different ways so I can extend the customer lifetime value. So this is a good thing to focus on.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for sharing. Awesome. We'll give you some examples here.
Good.
Who else wants to share? You can share, I've got it done, I've got my number. I'm going to show you the next example while you guys are doing that. So let's say, for example, right, I just did the same one, right? $1,000 a month for 12 months, that's $12,000. This is for one person, right? This is one customer. 12,000 times 2 years is 24,000. But then I added in a yearly review, meaning every year they're going to check in with me. We're going to have a full breakdown of where they are in whatever we plan for them. And that's for 10 years. I'm going to add another $5,990 over the next 10 years with them. So they were with me for 2 years, and then I've got that. So the total customer lifetime value in this example is 29,000. You guys like that? Get to add up a little bit more. So it's a lower cost, right? Much lower than when they started, but still substantial. Now let's look at this. What if I had 50 clients that did this with me as I build my book, right, and build my operation. I had 50 clients that were doing the $5.99. That's after that 24. That would just by adding that $5.99 for 10 years for 50 clients. Now I'm going to be able to have $299,000 over that 10-year period. Wouldn't another $300,000 be fun, right? And that's just by adding something in that wasn't a lot of work, right? Now it's going to be, creating that. But if I'm able to keep somebody longer, do you think they'll do other business with me? Potentially, depending on the service and what you're doing. So let's go to this one. The next one is, before we get there, who wants to go to the fair? What is this? You guys know what this is? And why I'm showing this?
An apple.
Who's been to the fair? Yeah, yum. Does anybody know what that is?
I
It is
can't
my
remember what it's
favorite thing.
called, but it is good.
Yeah, a funnel cake.
Okay, there you go.
Can you tell every time I go to the fair, I don't care how well I try, this thing goes all over me. You know, I ate a funnel cake from the time I walked in and ate that thing all the way to the end. I am super sticky, right? Everybody eating these things are sticky. It's all over you. And the reason I wanted to bring this is I want you to be so sticky that they are with you for anything. Think about, I am the core. They come to me for everything. They want to know, not only the services I provide, but they also want to know who am I working with. They want to know what the referrals I have to give. You want to become so sticky to increase that lifetime value and thinking about what can I add that will bring them value that they will stay. So we talked about this best in class service, seamless processes. We've worked with a lot of clients that have upsells, downsells, and what is the best journey for your client to make sure this makes sense and it fits them, right? That they accomplish this goal maybe in the 6 months. But if we were to expand on that, what's the next tier up? Like if they did that, then what's the next level up? And if they were to come back down and say, I just want this content because I want to remember it, unless it's a lifetime altering, John, and you will remember this stuff forever, most of us will forget and we will need a refresher. So what is that refresher that I could have in my world that continues with me, right? Office hours. How many of you guys do office hours as part of your services? You offer office hours as a general for everybody. Like if you had a community, those that have communities, have you ever offered office hours?
She's talking about. I didn't think it was great.
You mean
Okay.
office hours, set hours where they come in to see you or, okay.
So yeah, let me give context to that. So in a community, let's say you have you create a community of some level, right? It could just be members that are in a program together. And instead of doing like 4 or 5 programs that are kind of the same, doing one office hour for everybody in that entire program. So let's say you had 4 different programs, one office hour, one time a month for 2 hours. Anybody in those programs could come meet you in that office hours, and you continue that office hours as they move up in, let's say, learning, or let's say in engagement. You can change that office hours and you have 2 office hours. This is for my like basic and this is my advanced office hours. And anybody at this level, the questions are going to be similar, but they will be different than those in one tier, right? Think about tiering your office hours. And if you do this, you'll save time because instead of having to meet everybody one-offs, you can have one time that you do it. Also, think about value. If you have a place that holds everything, instead of emailing things out, they go and they download everything they need because this is the program they're in. And then they always have access to that. Sticky. Loyalty programs, we talked about this as well. How could you build a loyalty program? How could you build an incentive program and even a referral program to have people share you out and you give them a little bit of thank you back? And or maybe you give them a free month or a free yearly review. There's something that's so powerful with that give back that sometimes we miss it. We don't even take advantage of it because we're focused on what we're doing, but I want you to open the opportunity up to that. Also, annual events. Maybe there's an event you could throw once a year that brings all the people that have gone through your program together, especially if they're a community or if they're just clients that are similar. They like to network, or it's virtual and you're just doing something really cool with a great speaker. and also yearly review. So I'm going to stop here. What do you guys, what ways can you apply this to your business, and what kind of stands out for you at this point? What's kind of catching your eye?
I see one thing I see adding is an on, like you mentioned, after they go through the 3 or 6 months, and add going almost like a retainer or maybe once a month check-in to keep them on top of things. I like that a lot. Um, some sort of community, I like that. So people that go through our program, they perform better whatever they do. So maybe there's a little badge or a sticker or something that they can use as part of their community, put it on their Zoom, put it on, their wall at the office, some way so people will know.
Almost like a badge or a
Yeah, like a
certificate,
badge. Yeah.
Yeah,
certification, or a social media badge or something,
Right, right.
social proof.
yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that too. It's like, how do you really, and then everybody that knows and has gone through the program and they see somebody else with that badge, they're like, oh, look. And now it's a warm connection. So I love it. Anybody else? And there are definitely more ideas than what I'm sharing. I'm just giving you a snapshot. We've got 1 hour, 30 minutes to kind of dive into this stuff. So maybe you can get inspired and even do some more research or schedule time with me. We can talk about it. Let's dive into the last one we're going to talk about today, retain. Oh, the famous Google. Why would I put Google up here as a retain kind of figure? Why? What are they known for when it comes to their employees? What are they known for?
What are they known for, or what do they do actually do? So yeah, they're known to be good to their employees, right? That
Yeah. Yeah, they're just the employees. I don't know. I don't know all the
right.
details. I'm looking at this only from the employees' perspective of what are they doing for their employees. Yeah, work-life balance, James, yes. They actually hold this one title. They are the most blank company. Most fun. That's interesting, right? They're the most fun company. And it kind of caught when I was going through this, whoever has been on Google's campus, if you've been to a Google's campus, I have not, but my husband has, and he was like talking about it for hours after. He's like, oh my gosh, they have this and this and this and this and so many different things. And it was like, well, that sounds like an amusement park over there. I don't know what's going on. Are people working is what I asked. And he said, yeah, no, they're working. It's very creative. So think about your environment. If you're working, and it depends on how many people are on your team. If it's you and yourself, think about the team you want to build. If you already have a team, think about how you want to keep them with us, keep them on board. So if you think about the Google model, which can give us some ideas, what are some things before I share with you that come to mind that would keep employees engaged? Because I want to hear from you first. What will keep people engaged, or what are you already doing? Because I want to see if that's in the list that I'm providing today. And we're going to talk about what are you already doing, or what do you think would be a really great engagement opportunity?
One of the things we do is when I train people or we add people, they get to use the program themselves as well as their families, which they love. So it's a way to kind of reinforce what we're doing, but also give them the value.
Oh, that's very cool. That's a good value, especially the families. I like that.
Right. Yeah, include their family.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Dagmar, what do you do for your Athena circle? I know it's not employees,
Ooh.
but these are people that are part of your organization that serve as sort of ambassadors, right, for your members. Can you, oh, we still can't hear you.
Oh,
Shoot.
no. Yeah, employee giveaways. Like that. Yeah, giveaways. I didn't put giveaways as an option. We could add that to the list. Definitely. So I'm going to pop this up. There's a strong correlation between people that are working for a company and the purpose they have behind their work. When I was first starting off, feels like eons ago, but I still looking young. But when I first started off, I was like, I'm just going to get a job, right? And most people coming out of college, I'm just going to get a job. I got to do what I got to do. And then I got into it and I was like, oh my gosh, I am sitting in a cubicle. There's no purpose to my life. I need to have purpose. So I went off and started a different journey in life. But purpose was very important. It is very important to sometimes more people than we think. Some people will just grind through, but if you have a purpose behind what you're doing, think about the passion that you guys have behind what you're doing. Doesn't that drive you to get up every day and say, how can I make things better for others, whatever you're doing? So think about your employees. Do they have that same passion and purpose in what they're doing? Can they hold that and say, I'm so proud to work with this company because we're doing this? And think about that transition for yourself and for your team members and those you work with. If you're working with business owners, what could you help them with, right, on their purpose-driven work? Also, cutting edge innovation. So there is something special about innovative environment. Everybody loves that. Think about NASA, Google. These places are so cool. Like my cousin, apparently he's on the moon project because he did some discovery, right, about the moon. And it's like he's just driven by these creative projects. So if your team members are driven by creative projects, how can you bring them into the fold of the creative project so they feel a part of it and more engaged? This will keep them around longer. So think about what you're creating and if you can get insights from them. Okay, exceptional employee benefits. Vacation, James said it, I think, the work-life balance. If you can incorporate in benefits that are beneficial to your employees, the better chance you have of keeping them on board. And those that stay on board and stay longer, the cost for you goes down because every time somebody leaves, you got to pay money to train somebody else. And that could take time, effort. And so think about this as also another opportunity to put a little money towards engagement so you don't have to spend more money later trying to replace people over and over. They said that growth and development is huge. People will stay if they can develop and work up the ladder. So think about the opportunities of growth inside of your company and what opportunities are coming and how you can share that with your team members so they know. So there was one company where they hired from out instead of within, and that didn't set so well with the employees. So think about and then talking with your employees about those decisions sometimes if it's a close-knit group and it's small. Career opportunities, talked about that, perks, amenities, right? And enjoy and have fun at work. How can you incorporate fun? I'm gonna give you some ways to do this, but just from what you see, what is one of these that you're looking at that you're like, yeah, we do this, and this is what we would like to work on. Maybe one that you do already provide and one that you're looking to potentially look into more or bring more about. And I'll give you some ways you can actually implement this, and then we'll dive into our conversation. We would like that. And provide access to events for returning customers. And that brings your employees right in on the fold. That gets them engaged, your team members engaged. What else? What else are you guys doing already that's working to keep people engaged?
Purpose-driven work for sure, because people see the effects of what they're doing and they get really excited about it. And innovative environment too. I mean, we able to trying to get more as we get more people on board, but really take some really creative projects that they like.
They enjoy it. Yeah. Love it. All right. Do you know if you have the right people on the right seats on the bus? Do you know? And how do you know? How do you know if you have the right people in the right seats? How do you know? How do you know? This one comes up a lot.
You don't.
How do we know?
You don't.
Hmm.
You don't. You know.
Well, I'm going to pull up a quote. Oh, I like that. Things should feel easy. I'm going to pull up a quote from Good to Great. I don't know if you guys have read the book by Jim Collins, but he says, and I'm going to read it. I don't like to read from slides, but I'm going to read this for you because I think it's really powerful. It says, the right people are those employees who share your company's core values and help to support a culture based on those values. So it doesn't really matter what they're, in terms of that one. If they are supporting that, this is powerful. Now, the right seat means that an employee is operating within their area of greatest skill and passion within an organization. So if you have the right person, that's like key. If you can get the right people on your team, then it's just where do they excel the most? And that is going to take some time to really kind of find out and talk to them. But what do you guys think about seeing that? Does it make it more simple? And how can you apply that to your company?
In EOS, we have, because we use enterprise operating system, and
Yeah.
we literally evaluate all of our employees based on our values and principles first, and there can be no negotiables. So if someone doesn't fit the values and principles, and everyone doesn't recognize that, yeah, this is a true fit in terms of values and principles, then they're immediately eliminated. So we literally have written out all of the principles of leadership global, all of the values. It's even on our website. And anyone that we bring into the organization literally has to, there cannot even be a question mark about any of those values. They have to meet all those standards before we'll move forward with the interview process. And so there's that. And then we have a series of sort of skill level criteria for each job that we're looking for based on the work to be done, what that skill set and what that job requirement is, that they also have to be able to meet those criteria. And sometimes we actually ask people to do a sample project for us so we can verify that they really do have the skill sets and they do have the experience and level of expertise we're looking for. So we will pilot. We don't ask them to do an onerous amount of work, of course, but they're just little sample projects to indicate that they really do understand website design or IT issues that may pop up or whatever that we're hiring for.
Amazing.
That's
I
good.
don't know if that's helpful.
Yeah, it's very good. Anybody else? Yeah, that EOS system really gets it lined in and focused. Okay. All right. I'm going to give you guys some ideas then. In addition to what Linda shared, I hope you guys took some notes because that's a good reminder of how you can make sure you have the right people in the right seat. But when it comes to how am I going to build this organization and what am I doing to create that engaging environment, identifying the right people. And maybe if you're starting off, it may just be you. And then it may be you and a collaborator. And it may be you, a collaborator, and a generalist, and then a specialist. And it's knowing where you are in your business, knowing when to bring in the right type of individual based on the values, but also based on their skill set and who can help you grow this company, whatever level you are. And that may be bringing in different individuals based on their skills and based on what your company is lacking and what it needs. But when you get them in there, then it's how do I keep them engaged? And that's where we come into, well, start small. A lot of the things that we share in this roundtable are things that if you did them all, you might get overwhelmed because you're like, I have so much things I got to work on my business and I just got to do my business. So how am I going to get all this done? Take it small. Don't try to accomplish all the programs that you could do for employees, but maybe roll out a pilot program. Maybe start something small this next 90 days or this next half year and gather feedback from the employees before you go through the whole entire process of putting something into place. See if they want it. See if it's something that will get them excited and keep them there with you. So keep that in mind. Also, I would suggest doing something like a creative hour. How can you implement a creative hour where employees come together to suggest things? We did this presentation a long time ago and working with companies that innovation mining, meaning if I actually go in, did you guys ever watch the show? What is it called? The Boss. My Boss, Your Boss, How's Boss? It's when they go
Undercover
behind the
boss?
scenes.
Yeah, undercover
Undercover
boss.
boss, that's
Yeah,
it.
that's good.
And they go in and they talk to the employees, right? wasn't it so cool to see the employees at all different levels giving suggestions and insight? Sometimes we overlook our own and we will not ask the questions that they may know some of the ways to make it quicker, faster, smarter, smoother, how to fix things, and they're not sharing because they're just doing it, right? They're just keeping
Right.
going. And if we stopped and asked them, you go, wow, that was really cool. So creative hour, I suggest doing it. It just is another suggestion of things to help engage your employees. So, as you reflect on our discussion, what insights are emerging from you for you in this realm of engage and in retain and in price? What's coming up for you guys? What's emerging?
Well, for me, just being more intentional about these things, because when you're going fast, we've got just trying to keep up with everything, and I have a few good people working for me, but I think being more intentional about defining these things, like about the avatars, about the stickiness, about these different ways to keep things going. Um, I'm kind of getting excited when we're done. I'll call one of my partners and we're going to brainstorm on this. So this is really good.
Very cool. Very cool. Ooh, I like that. Joanne said creating a community. Oh, anything else? I do have a breakout. So as you guys are thinking, now we can do, since we got a smaller group, we can just keep it here, but I want to talk about aligning. So the synchronized swimmers, right? They're always precise. Their timing is impeccable. They always are in sync. And if one of them's off, well, they all need to be off to be able to be together, right? But but in reality, they need to be all on point and they don't have a way to see, right? If you think about a synchronized swimmer, most of their routines, they are underwater. So how in the heck are they able to see? Sometimes we feel like we are underwater, right? Moving so fast. So how can we see whenever and make sure we're aligned if we're not seeing the whole picture? So think about your pricing, think about your engagement, your customer lifetime value, how your price will impact, right? Your customer lifetime value, how you can weave the prices, make them varied, how you can tier prices, how you can work that strategy that fits your business, and how employee retention, if they are happy, they will also follow through and have your customers be happy because they're happy working with them, they're happy, and everybody's moving things along and it's creative. Think about the positive feedback loop that you will get in this process. So, where do you feel you can implement these strategies of intertwining things together, and what questions you have for your specific situation or what you see as maybe challenging as you think about intertwining these three for business success to help and grow your business success? Oh, we are 5 minutes. Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Yep. We're almost done. This is it.
oh yeah,
We're
okay,
just going to
good.
recap and close. Yeah, we're just going to recap and close. This is it. So
Yeah, no,
what do you
this
guys
is yeah. Um, but
challenges?
I can really see the organization of this, just realigning everything, not just from the immediate, but also all the way to the retention, adding more
Mhm.
things at the tail end. So you work with your client and keep that engagement over as long as you can. That's something we're going to be working on for sure.
And anybody see challenges? And when you look at this, you're like, Amanda, you stressed me out. What do I do next? I'm going to focus on creating more customer retention practices. Ooh, cool. Thanks, Dagmar. And I love when you guys share because we learn from each other. I mean, we're all in business, we're all working. You guys are doing things that are helping. But think about this. I'm going to wrap up and we can leave some time at the end, but I want to just make sure we kind of close the loop for everybody here on the call today. So We covered pricing models, value-based pricing, right? De Beers, of diamonds forever, right? What value are we bringing? The customer lifetime value, how powerful that is and how it can really transform our businesses, especially if we can do it for a longer period of time. Stickiness, what things in our world that we can keep sticky. Think of reoccurring model. If you're able to build a reoccurring model with your clients for a long period of time, this can be very powerful for your today and your tomorrow when you exit, and employee engagement.